Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Jessa Jeremiah, and we have an excellent show for you today. We got a lot of topics to cover. We're going to learn about the benefits of hot yoga. We're going to talk a little bit about medication and what that packaging means. First, we are joined by Brad Stevens, owner of Stevens Design, a fabulous place to shop for furniture, lovely showroom, and welcome, Brad. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Very excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have you. I stepped into your showroom a couple weeks ago and was just incredibly impressed with the selection and the way that the interior decor is put together by your designers.
Thank you.
So I had to know more. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this.
Well, actually, Jess, it goes back about 100 years. My great-grandfather started a business local by the name of McGilligan's, and that was back in 1917. Started as an upholstery shop, and actually started more as retiring buggies and repairing go-karts. Since it was the late teens, there weren't very many cars, and so a lot of buggy repairs. And from there, it evolved into an upholstery shop. Both my great-grandfather and his brother actually worked for a company called Bailey's Furniture back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And that's how my family got its start in the furniture industry. I'm fourth generation. I actually had generation 5 working for me over the summer. I have a son that's in college and needed a little extra money in his pocket, so he worked for me, and I think he's getting an understanding on why he's going to go to college and skip the furniture business.
Okay.
So.
Well, you know what? It takes all kinds, right? All different folks
Absolutely,
out there.
absolutely.
Well, that's just wonderful. So what a long-standing family business. This is something that you have been a part of your history for a very long time.
Yeah, basically, again, started in 1917. My great-grandfather had a couple of sons and a daughter, and the sons took over the business. The first one, John, my grandfather, took over the business McGilligan's in the early 1940s. And then his brother, Bill, basically joined the company and bought out half of the business after he returned from World War II. And so the brothers were co-proprietors, ran the business up until 1970. And at that point, my mother bought in, took out half of my grandfather's part of the business. And at that point, again, strictly an upholstery shop. And most of the crew left my mother's business at that point. They would not work for a woman. Kind of gives you an idea of how we've evolved.
Yes, interesting.
Yeah, so in 1970, Mom takes over half. Most of the company leaves, and she's stuck with a couple guys that actually stuck with her. Her uncle, my great uncle, at that point sold his half of the business a couple years later, and hence my mother became sole proprietor of McGilligan's Interiors in the middle 70s.
Wow.
So yeah.
Quite the history.
Yeah.
So this is something that's been in your family for a long time, from
It's
your
in
mother on down.
It's in the blood. And
That you said it. Let's talk a little bit about what you carry in terms of goods and what kinds of things you have.
Sure. Well, in 2004, my parents went out of business. McGilligan's went bankrupt, and they were a full-fledged retail furniture store. In addition, they had the upholstery shop and a cabinet company. So myself and two partners bought the upholstery shop, McGilligan's, but I needed a little bit more a little bit more of a challenge in my life.
Sure.
And so at that point, I started Stevens Design, which is the furniture store that I now own and operate. I noticed that Madison was lacking in the better goods in the marketplace.
Right.
So by solidifying a exclusive relationship with Stickley Furniture and a number of other furniture lines, I decided to basically roll the dice and talk to my wife about it, and decided, this is what I know, this is what I've been doing since I was 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do. So, I'd go and I'd work on the space during the day, get all jazzed, all pumped up, go home at night, look in the mirror, and I'm like, what in the heck are you doing? I mean, you're gambling everything on this thing. And needless to say, the first couple of years we lost a lot of money, and all of a sudden the business turned. People started to recognize who we were. We carried the same ethics and mentality of McGilligan's, which is very customer service driven. And finally, after a couple of years, we started to show a profit, and we did some nice jobs, and basically we were put on the map.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, what an incredible story and journey that you've had through this time, through the family, and now with Stevens Design. And
Right.
if you haven't been over there, you got to check out their showroom. Absolutely outstanding. They've got a team of interior designers that are well worth it. They'll come by your house and do miracles on your home and
Right.
make it your own. So check them out. Thank you so much, Brad, for
Oh,
joining
thank you.
us.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. Please stick around. We're going to be right back with more Talk of the Town after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. Joining us now, as promised, we've got an interesting topic that we're going to cover here. We've got Eric Hewitt, who is the owner of the Madison shop in Monona, and we are going to talk about specialized medication packaging. So there's a lot to know, and Eric, I'm glad you're joining us. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I've got a lot of questions about this. This is an interesting topic. Now, for folks out there who are wondering about some different options out there, what are the different packaging options for patients and caregivers, and how do these help ensure that we're getting the right medications?
Sure. Yeah, at the Madison shop, we have a couple of different options, to help keep, maybe family members or the patient themselves independent in their own homes while having the safety of having proper medication set up. So I brought a couple of things here. We have kind of two options that we have here. So we just have the normal med box that can be set up for a week. We pre-fill this med box with the medications in the correct slot, and we would deliver those to the patient's houses on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So it kind of takes the responsibility off of you, the patient, or you, the caregiver,
Right.
On setting up those meds, and we do that for the patient themselves, and like I said, send that out to them.
That's great. Foolproof.
Yes,
Yeah.
can be. We try. And then kind of the next step up would be the CompuMed, and basically this is something similar, only the medication box gets locked in here, and there is a audible reminder of when to take the medication. So we can set it up to multiple times a day. This little light goes off here, and a tray pulls out with the medications they're supposed to get. So this kind of helps. It's kind of an extra level of security for people maybe that forget to take it, don't remember what day it is, that kind of thing, or even have trouble, kind of duplicating medications even though it's set up for them.
Right, absolutely. So depending on what sort of level of automation you're in need of, that is an outstanding option.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about why somebody might choose to do this is the CompuMed, is that how it's pronounced?
Yep.
Why would you choose that over the weekly
Sure.
option? What would be the most reasonable reason?
Most of the time, for most of our patients, it's kind of a dementia or a memory kind of situation where, something like this, even though the medications are set up, they may not know that, today's Tuesday, or it's Tuesday in the afternoon, or if they see a slot that's empty, they think maybe those pills are missing, they don't remember taking them.
Sure.
They also have access to a full week's of medication at a time, where the CompuMed kind of locks it in, only dispenses the medications that they're supposed to take at that given time, and doesn't give them access to anything else.
Wow, okay, so this is very important for somebody with memory issues, memory loss, things of that nature. And can we get this at any pharmacy, or how do we go about getting something like this?
You can always check with your local pharmacy. A lot of times these smaller independent pharmacies like the Madison shop will have some sort of med boxes or medication packaging that they do. The CompuMeds, however, to my knowledge, we're one of the only pharmacies in southern Wisconsin that has the CompuMed. They may have some similar kind of more specified packaging compared to just the general med box, but to my knowledge, we're the only ones in southern Wisconsin with the CompuMed machines.
And one question that comes to mind is, this is just such an outstanding and important piece of technology for folks who are in need of something like this. What if the medication is changed in just that day? How is something like that handled?
Sure. Yeah, because most times these boxes or the CompuMeds will be delivered on the same day each week. So say it's Tuesday and tomorrow they change a medication. For us at the Madison shop, what we do is either myself or one of my delivery drivers will come out and change the box right there. So it's not something that the patient has to bring in to us or the family has to somehow arrange to get there. Because these are a locked med box, we have to have access to them. So one of my staff members or myself even will come out and make sure that that change is done in a timely manner so the patient can start on the new medication or an antibiotic or whatever has been prescribed for that patient.
Wow, that's really outstanding. That's service. And are there any limitations to either of those options that you want to share?
Yeah, the limitations for the CompuMed is, number one, you have to be home when it dispenses.
Sure.
And then number two, it can only be programmed for up to 4 times a day dispensing. So in the rare case that somebody may take things 5-6 times a day, we have to either try and consolidate some of those doses so it fits into 4 doses per day. So that's really kind of the biggest limitation, is the fact that you can only program it for up to 4 times a day to dispense.
Interesting. But what an important way to get medicine to our loved ones who are struggling with memory loss or just need the reminder. So that's very interesting. And Eric, thank you so much for joining us from the Medicine Shop in Monona. These guys are a wealth of knowledge, lots of information, and I know there's a lot more where that came from. So thanks for sharing just a little bit of your knowledge with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys, stick around. We're going to be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined now by a very special guest, Leanne, who joins us from the Chocolaterian. And if you've never been, I highly recommend you stop by. But welcome, Leanne. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you. So I've been learning a little bit more about what you do. And I think I mentioned I looked at your website this morning and was very impressed. It's more than I even knew. But of course, we got to dive into chocolates first, right? We got to talk about that. So tell me about, we've got quite the spread here. Tell me about some of your signature items.
Okay, well, Chocolaterian is a chocolate lounge or a patisserie, which is a cafe that specializes in chocolate and desserts and treats. And some of our signature items here is our chocolate mousse, which is made with local ingredients. That's a mix of dark chocolate, milk chocolate, sassy cow, heavy cream, and Galpaca honey. So the 2 elements that we can have local are local. We also have a signature chocolate cake. This is a 3-layer cake that's got a layer of raspberries in it. That's house-made local raspberries, raspberry puree, chocolate ganache, edible chocolate fans, a chocolate band. So we try to use chocolate in a lot of different forms and textures.
That cake! That is outstanding. Oh my gosh.
It's beautiful and fun to make.
Yeah.
We have salted caramels from our Christine's Toffee line, which was the genesis of the Chocolaterian Cafe. Again, only using Wisconsin butter and Wisconsin heavy cream. So we try to take Wisconsin butter, do really great things with it.
Wow. This mousse is calling my name. Can I give it a
Absolutely.
whirl here?
Please do. Please
oh my
do.
God, this just looks so good. And before I get into it here, you serve other things other than desserts. Do you
We do. We are a savory cafe as well. So we've got.
My God.
That's exactly what.
The interview. Yeah.
That's exactly what a chocolate maker wants to hear. Oh my God.
Wow, that is outstanding.
Thank you. Nice
I didn't
and
mean
light
to
and airy.
interrupt, but that was interrupt worthy. That was very good.
Oh, glad to hear it. So hopefully you'll find our savory food just as good. We have a selection of house-made quiches, which are just fantastic with a lovely light flaky pastry crust. We do open-faced pies or galettes. We have tarts and a whole number of savory things. So you can certainly enjoy lunch or dinner there at our cafe, as well as any number of chocolate desserts.
Yes, and let me recommend the mousse, and I'm sure they're all equally fantastic because that's just great. And you even actually serve alcohol, do you know?
We do. We have beer and wine, so Chocolaterian is a fantastic place as a dessert restaurant or a date spot. It's a great place for small informal meetings or parties. So we try to choose beers and wines that complement our chocolates. So we have a lot of local beers and a lot of really great wines that just taste fantastic with chocolate.
Oh wow, what a great way to spend an afternoon or an evening, or just go get a glass of wine and sample some of these amazing chocolates and other things that you have. That sounds just great. And let's talk a little bit about some of the local ingredients. You actually use some local ingredients, correct?
Absolutely. We use Wisconsin butter exclusively from a number of different providers. We use Sassy Cow Heavy Cream, which is extraordinary, out of Sun Prairie. Galpaca Honey out of Mount Horeb. Of course, chocolate is not local. It doesn't grow in Wisconsin. It's an equatorial plant. So that I have to bring in from other locations, but things that I can't do locally, I do. No, absolutely. We use Wisconsin bacon, Wisconsin meat products, and so wherever we can be local, we are.
That's wonderful. We love to give back here locally. And let's talk a little bit real quick before we go. You do have live music as well, right?
We do. On Friday and Saturday nights throughout the winter, we have live music, often jazz, light guitar music, occasionally swing bands, just because Chocolaterian is a date location on weekend nights. In the daytime, it acts very much like a family-friendly cafe, so kids are certainly welcome. But on weekend nights, it turns into just like an event destination. If you go out for dinner, you come to Chocolaterian afterwards, live music's playing, a bottle of wine, and it's just a nice way to end a night.
Lovely. Well, I'm going to have to try that out myself. Thank you
Okay.
so much for joining us and sharing all these beautiful samplings of things that you have over there at Chocolaterian over on Atwood. Leanne, appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, stick around. From treating yourself with chocolate to treating yourself with hot yoga. We're going to talk to the folks with Dragonfly Yoga after the break. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We have, as promised, a very interesting topic to close with today. We're going to talk about hot yoga, and something that I have been myself meaning to try. I've heard wonderful things about Dragonfly Hot Yoga, and joining us is Kaila Pooler. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to have you and learn more about yoga, and I stopped by the studio and just became more and more interested. So for folks like myself who haven't done hot yoga previously, walk us through it a little bit. If you're nervous about it, what would you tell those students?
I would tell new students to be brave and patient and not to worry. Hot yoga can be really intimidating, and it will take a couple classes to acclimate to the heat, but really from the very first class it feels amazing, and you'll feel an increased range of motion and flexibility right away. So in addition to that, you'll get a really great sweat. You know, it feels nice when it's so cold outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard, like I said, wonderful feedback about folks who have used your studios. And there's something on your website that's called the Dragonfly Difference. Can you kind of explain what some of those things are to our viewers?
Well, we really feel that the Dragonfly Difference begins with our amazing and friendly instructors. You know, they're very knowledgeable and will take good care of everyone who comes in regardless of level. We pride ourselves on our really beautiful modern studio. We keep it very clean, which is surprisingly hard to find in the yoga world these days.
Yeah.
And we are committed to meeting everyone exactly where they are. I think that's what makes us very different. New students can come in for a free class and a $40 introductory month, so they can come as often as they'd like for a month to try things out.
Wow, that's wonderful. And you mentioned some pricing, so that's a great way to get involved and get started.
Oh yeah.
Typically, yoga places can be very expensive. So kind of explain, you have something that's called the Dragonfly Yoga Love Program. What is that?
We think it's really important to give back to the community, so we've raised thousands of dollars since we opened in 2011 for charities around town, but we also give away every month on the first of the month 5 free 20-class passes for yogis who like to come on a regular basis but can't necessarily afford to.
Wow, what a wonderful thing to do. That's really, really neat and unique. And if I'm not mistaken, you have 2 studios, right? Madison, and then one in Fitchburg as well in McKee Road. So the one in Madison is in Junction Road near Middleton.
That's right.
So can folks go to both places? Or how does that work?
Absolutely, yeah. If you are on our ClassPass system or have the unlimited membership, you can enjoy both studios. And we're actually opening a 3rd studio this spring in Sun Prairie. So as of May 2015, we'll also be at the Shops at Prairie Lakes over on the east side. So you'll be able to choose from all 3 when you come to Middleton or Junction Road and Fitchburg to buy passes.
That's wonderful. So depending on where you are, maybe near work or near home, you can utilize going to be all 3 studios.
Yeah, for sure,
Very
for sure.
neat. And let's talk a little bit about the Yoga Alliance. I don't know a whole lot about this and your teacher certification program. What's that all about?
We have a 200-hour teacher training program. A 200-hour certification is sort of your base level for becoming a yoga teacher. And if you're looking for a training program, you should look for one that is registered with the Yoga Alliance. It's very important to make sure you're trained by someone who is certified in that way. And in our program, we really prioritize exposing teachers or soon-to-be teachers to lots of different styles of yoga. And we give them the opportunity to teach from the very first day. So you get up there and sort of get the nerves out right off the bat.
Yeah.
We actually have a teacher training program coming up this year in June. It's an intensive, which means that you can do the entire 200-hour program in about 2.5 weeks. It starts on June 14th.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
And we almost have to go, but I have to get this out because you have a new studio open called Flight.
We do.
What is this?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just opened Flight
look
Cycle.
There you go. Love it.
I am also the director of instruction over at Flight Cycle. We have about 30 indoor cycling classes a week. We're just down the road from Dragonfly Middleton. We have an amazing state-of-the-art studio with top-of-the-line bikes and a light system and a sound system that will blow you away so that you can get an amazing cardio workout right before you go down the street for some yoga.
How fun is that? I love cycle, and I'm very excited to try out yoga. So thank you so much,
Yeah,
Kaila,
of
for your
course.
insight. Lots of great information. We got to go. It goes
Yeah,
so
of
fast,
course. Yeah,
but
I know.
thanks for
My
joining
pleasure.
us.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it. If you'd like to check out Dragonfly Yoga or Now Flight, that is now open, please give them a call, visit their website, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our guests, and please join us next time for Talk of the Town.